Scott Jelinski, Modern Samurai Project here, coming at you with another Jedi moment. Anyway, it's interesting the way timing works out. I was talking with a friend recently who had attended one of my classes. He's a sergeant down in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and I said something in class to him that he really dug, and he asked me if he can start using it in his classes, having to do with trigger finger discipline. And I said, absolutely. As a matter of fact, you know what? I think I should do a video. So I reached out to the guy where I learned it from, Brannon LeBouef out at Nolotac in New Orleans, and said, hey man, I want to make a video on it, following up on your video and adding my own little spin on how I communicated. He's like, rock on, man. So we're going to do that today, okay? So, anyway, here is the clear Glock 34 from Agency. So here's what we're going to do, right? So there's two ways to think about this, okay? Number one, this off the trigger, this is home. This is work. This is home. This is work. Okay? So you got to think about it, right? Where would you rather be? Would you rather be at home or work? Okay? In the metaphorical sense, I guess, if that's the word I want to use, I would always rather be home versus work. But sometimes you gotta go to work, okay? Now what I tell people is, I assume you would rather be at home versus work as well. What do you call that guy who's always at work, but he's not doing anything? He's just there to make sure the boss sees him, but he's not doing any of the work. He's just hanging out at work. What do you call that guy? Call that guy an asshole, right? And you know what? The minute you say that, it kind of resonates with people. And they're like, wait a minute, you're right. I don't want to be that asshole. I'm going to be a little bit more conscious of where my trigger finger is. Because when I'm home, I'm going to be home. When I need to get to work, I'm going to work. But I'm not going to be at work more than I am at home, because that guy who is an asshole, right? As instructors, as concerned armed citizens that are going to teach things to other people, we got to find a way to overcome people's conditioning and programming. And how are they conditioned and programmed? People are used to grabbing things like a hammer. Okay, they're used to grabbing things like a hammer. Doesn't matter if it's a hammer or a gun. So we need to have some psychological mechanism to override all that conditioning and programming. Because most people can't do this. They can't move their trigger finger without moving the other fingers, okay? I've seen people, when I do that, they do this. Because they're not used to separating it. Understand that. The first way to understand that is to have them mentally understand that, and then give little exercises to help them out with the trigger finger discipline, okay? What are some people that are pre-programmed to have horrible trigger finger discipline? Just some things to watch out for that I have seen, right? Who's good at it, first of all? Musicians are awesome, man. They got finger dexterity like nobody's business, okay? They usually come up and they've got no problem separating their trigger finger from the rest of their fingers all day long. Athletes, okay? Whose position is to have finger dexterity? Baseball pitchers, quarterbacks, point and shooting guards in basketball. Which athletes are the worst? Wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys, boxers for the most part, because their whole life is about clinching, whether it be the gi, whether it be wrists or the neck, okay? Whether it be always keeping your fists clenched as you're throwing jabs. Those are the people you gotta watch out with, man. I had a buddy, his jiu-jitsu, won't mention anything, but dude, seriously, his jiu-jitsu is beautiful, right? But I took him out for a lesson, and we're talking about deep 7 o'clock at 3 yards, because he just could not pull the trigger with his entire hand. So again, two things, right? Work, home. Work, home. Explain that to them, and the guy who's always at work not doing anything, that guy's an asshole. And understand certain people are going to be predispositioned based on their conditioning and their programming to have horrible trigger finger discipline. And the sooner we can diagnose that as instructors, the better off we'll be. All right? Anyway, Scott Jelinski, Modern Samurai Project. As always, be good, stay safe, get training.